one. Welcome back to the Culturally Distinct Podcast. It's your boy Black Adam. I'm back. In effect, we still in Mental Health Awareness Month. Don't do that to me, Kai. Don't do that to me. Uh, we still in the Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm glad you guys tuned in to the show. Much love to my sponsor, 605 Adult Beverages, Red Core Universe, and Call Audio. I thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, guys, always subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Y'all see me in the streets. Y'all see me outside. Y'all might see me online. Just make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend what we got going on. We got a special show for you guys today. But before we get into the show, I'd like to introduce my two co-hosts for today. Shout out to India. What's up, India?
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Happy Friday to everybody.
And we got
Feeling good?
Kid Jack over here. What's going on, Kai?
Here. I'm here.
How y'all Friday, guys? The purpose why we're here, as you guys know, you see, I guess, if you guys are in Baton Rouge area, you guys, of course, the mighty Southern University, you might have seen this brother uh probably in the operating room. You probably seen him emceeing, you probably seen him rapping, you probably seen him podcasting. You didn't see this brother doing something in the Baton Rouge area. But today he's, I guess, on a show, and I think it's gonna be a pivotal, impactful show for us today. That's the reason why I wanted to get on. You know, we have a couple of Jaguars in here. I'm sorry, India. I'm sorry. We have a couple of Jaguars in here, but it's all good. No diss. We always accept people in. But I like everybody to welcome to the show Dr. Rani Whitfield, the hip hop doc.
Hey, you got it right too, Adam. Most people say it wrong, man. They say Rainy, man. I was gonna get off the show if you said my name.
Oh, come on.
Appreciate it, man. Blessings. Thank y'all for having me, man. This is an honor, bro. So I've been checking out the podcast, checking out your stuff, man. Y'all doing some wonderful work and really bringing it to the people. I appreciate you.
Oh, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, Doc, is it okay for me to call you Doc?
Doc, this is all good. That's what most people call me.
Okay.
So, Doc, I know this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know you work in mostly medicine, but I know that you see a lot of situations in terms of medical illnesses and mental health illnesses that kind of tie in together, right? First of all, before we even get into that, for my audience, who is Dr. Whitfield? Where are you from? The things that you do.
Brother, I'm a man of many hats. I'll tell you, I'm blessed, first of all. So I woke up this morning and I'm blessed to be here. But I'm a father, husband, excuse me, let me get it first. Man of God, husband, father, a rapping doctor, just a lot of things. A proud graduate of the Southern University and A&M College. So y'all get it right. The only HBCU system in the world. Just a man of many hats, man. I've been blessed. I started using music and medicine to educate kids on health issues. And it mushroomed from folks laughing at me from doing that. And to me now being a national spokesperson for the American Heart Association, traveling nationally and internationally around the world, talking to people about health and health-related issues. And again, trying to use the music as a way to impact folks to change their thinkings about health and mental health.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, especially when you mentioned that you were connecting with kids, are you finding that it's more of a demand now because of the awareness that is going on in our community?
Yeah, I mean, with social media now, it's good and bad. I mean, social media kind of gives you a bunch of information. It's almost information overload. So people are aware of things and asking more questions, but many of my young folks just believe everything they read right away. So my whole role in getting in there, and also I didn't mention that to you guys as well. I just recently wrote a children's book about a year ago, and I've been reading to the schools throughout the East Baton Rouge Parish. It's about my son called RJ Did It, but just trying to dispel some of that misinformation and make sure people are getting the right information. So I don't care how much information is out there, even when you're podcasting, you got to double check these folks, see what's going on. So it's been a battle, but I mean that's a part of the mission. I know God put me here for a reason, and there's things that I need to do and have to do. And so I'm enjoying the ride and waking up every day, waiting for the next challenge and the next rotation. And as a Black father in this community, raising my son, I've been pouring into other people's kids now. My son is 6, my daughter's 19 in college. I'm trying to find ways to channel that energy and make sure I'm giving him what I gave those other young people when I didn't have children.
Right, that makes sense. So, Doc, if you can tell me, if you could choose one profession, meaning music or medical, or mental health? Which one would you rather do if you had to?
DJ DOC, he's open live for win condition this evening. Y'all gonna make me cut up. See, I was trying to be nice and professional. You want to go there. You didn't have to do all that. I was gonna stay professional, but man, I'm so passionate about music. And you know that well, I ain't gonna lie, it might be basketball, y'all. I'm still out there trying to dunk at 55. So if you're gonna make me choose, I'm gonna choose medicine because that's gonna pay the bills, take care of my family. But that little alter ego of mine, he's still hooping and he's still DJing. And the beautiful thing, a friend of mine named Donnie Rose, who does a lot of publications, and Adam, that's somebody you need to check out potentially for the show. Donnie said, bro, the natural transition for you from rapping is gonna be DJing. And I didn't believe him. That's been 10 years ago, and now I'm DJing like for real, like weddings, parties, getting booked. Like I can't do that because I got to work this week. So my life, y'all, is a movie, and I'm not saying it to be braggadocious, but I am very blessed. Sometimes I look at like, how are you doing it? And I can only do it, guys, because of the support of the women and men that I have in my life. I have my father passed a couple years ago, but my mother's still alive. My brother still. I have 2 brothers and a sister that are alive. An amazing wife. Just a lot of support. And you can't be successful in this world without that support system, which is going to spin back into when we start really getting to the mental health piece, because that's why I'm able to keep my mental health, because I do have that support. I'm not scared to talk. I'm not scared to listen either. So we've got to do all those things to stay grounded, stay focused. And that allows me to accomplish many things that some people say, how do you do it? It's like, you got to find that peace, but the grind is still there as well. So it's a balance, and many people don't have that balance or don't know how to find that balance.
Right, Kai.
So, Doc, I mean, you and I, we know each other from the Southern University, being around campus, being around school. It's a long time. I had this bad habit of telling people you were the coroner. I mean, I'm speaking it to an existence. I know we had a run, but I mean, for the longest, when I was there, you couldn't tell me otherwise. I'm just so excited to be here in this platform, because I appreciate when Adam gives me my time for mental health, because he said I act like it's in everything, but little does he know it is. But I was just telling him and telling them that something as simple that resonated with me about her was just, like I say, the lockbox. If it's a lockbox in the lobby of each dorm that somebody can check, that people can put anonymous notes, hey, I need you to check on this person, or a person may say, hey, I need to be checked on, because it's not as easy to say you're gonna go walk into the counseling center.
That's right.
For help versus putting a note in a box and then somebody seeking you out. So it's just different things like that. But to just say that, just very, very excited to be here, having the opportunity to sit down across from you and have this conversation in this platform on the next to the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month. Like India said, she said for her this week felt short. For me, it felt long because I'm onboarding for a new job. So it's just been a lot, amongst other things that I've been doing. But
make sure you decompress and you find that peace. You gotta, a little glass of Chardonnay or whatever you're trying to do with a little The Shy, what you want to watch on TV, whatever you need to do. Find that peace, because I'm gonna watch The Shy, y'all, when I finish talking to y'all.
Oh, good.
I never got into it, but I need to.
I got a bottle of tequila waiting, so a bottle of tequila waiting. So Doc, let me get back into it. So Doc, question for you. As a person that has many hats, right? That wears many hats, how do you deal with your mental health in your professions? Because, brother, DJ is a lot. Being an MD is a lot.
It does.
How do you deal with that?
It is, but I want to get a little arrogant, say I'm built for it. That's one thing. But also, I pray and meditate before I make a move. Before I get out the bed in the morning, the first thing I do is pray, meditate, try to get outside. I got a little morning routine where I pray, meditate, get my water in, go do some dead hangs, walk outside for a little bit if it's not raining, get my feet on the ground. They call it grounding. Got my own little routine that I do. Just kind of, and that's before anybody gets up. In the evening times when my house is quiet and everybody's asleep, I got a little in-house sauna that I can use. It costs $140, $150. I put on some inspirational, motivational music or a speech that I might want to hear that's motivational, spiritual. And those are things that I do to escape, because the work has to go on. I got to take care of my family. I'm a black man in America. There's a lot of pressures on black men that a lot of people don't understand, don't relate to, think that we're making these things up, but they're real. I kind of want to jump back to what we were talking about earlier, and the white guy that you're talking about that does the rap. When it comes to black children, what I find particularly, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. And so, you know, you got to pour into those young people. And that's why it's so important that we listen to them and just hear what they have to say. It might not make sense to you. It might be a little bit older. I'm 55 years old. Being a hip hop doc has allowed me to connect and relate to those young people. But at the same time, Adam, I bring some of that stuff home. You know, I got a house with a roof and the AC working, a generator when the weather's bad, and I'm going to talk to kids at school that don't have any of the resources and things that my family has. So sometimes I feel like I'm doing them a disservice or creating a reality for them that's not real or a fake reality for them. So I always try to give to my son and my daughter, like, look, y'all are special children, but you're not better than anybody. And so when you go into these schools with dilapidated, you know, facilities and bathrooms are poor and lack of a decreased amount of teachers, overcrowded classrooms, and you come back into your environment, it's almost a disservice in a sense to me. I feel like I'm doing a disservice, like I'm creating this false hope for those young people. So that's why I'm constantly putting out content, traveling to schools, trying to speak to young people to make sure that they get what they need. But all that being said, coming back to your question, Adam, my piece is in meditation, prayer, and finding time for myself, you know, being very intentional about my mental and physical health. Very intentional. I work out regularly, drink a lot of water, occasional alcohol here and there with the wife when we doing a little celebration, but you know, not much, man, because I got to be here to take care of my queen and my princess and my young prince. So I'm not trying to check out soon. I'm seeing a lot of death, a lot of stuff happened during COVID. A lot of people, we lost a lot of black lives during COVID, a lot of black lives during COVID. And so a lot of people are dealing with that mental health and pain and anguish and don't even know that that's what they're grappling with. So again, I got to be grounded so that I can help my people.
That's good.
So do you find that young people are interested in meditation and having that quiet time, grounding and things of that nature that you just described that you do for yourself?
But without a doubt, this young. The problem, I think, one of our biggest issues though is the social media. Ain't no damn way in hell you gonna bully me on ain't no Twitter gangster about to get in my head. I'm blocking you, I'm scrolling. But I'm not in that culture like they are. So when people tell me, man, that kid was being bullied online and he committed suicide, it doesn't always make sense to me because you can't do that to me. Bullying back in my day was some big dude at school that you knew could beat you up and he was taking advantage of folks and we're gonna crowd him. We're gonna get him. But you know, to now it's tons of ways that kids are being bullied, shaming, even in the cheerleading world. You know, Orlando's letter was very pouring, but if you talk to her friends and some family members, and even mom, we're not quite sure why she would do that. One of the worst things I've ever heard is that suicide is a permanent answer to a temporary problem. I don't care if just your dog dying, whatever it is that makes you think you're going to take your life or want to take your life is so overwhelming to you for somebody to think that they can just discredit you for that. Like, oh, that don't make no sense. Like, I don't, no. That meant something to them. Whatever it was is serious. And if they don't have anybody to reach out to talk to about it, that sometimes becomes the end result. So we have to stop or start talking and start listening when those do people talk. There's a song by Royce the 5'9", check on your strong friend. And so, you know, that's that mentality in the black community that all of us are strong and black women are this and that. Black women are a big problem as well because they're so busy taking care of families and themselves, they neglect their own health from their mental as well as their physical health. So they die from things like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, because they taking care of the husband, making sure the kids are fed, making sure the bills are paid, making sure the house is taken care of. While the husband goes to work, comes home, sit down, eat, and go to sleep in that traditional lifestyle. It's changing now. But in the way I grew up, that's what I saw. My mom made sure everything was taken care of. My dad paid the bills, took care of the house, got the grass cut, but everything else was taken care of by my mom. That's a lot of stress on women. And so it's not as traditional as it used to be, but I still see some households that function like that. There's a lot of pressure on people. So again, finding that peace, being intentional about your own personal health It's real out there.
I'm glad that you said that, because last time I was here, I made that statement that a lot of people don't realize society deems completion of suicide as a coward, as a cop-out. But I tell people, honestly, that's like the bravest thing, honestly, that some people have
I couldn't
done.
do it. I couldn't do it.
It's actually a brave act, but a lot of people can't see that. But you just said it in a way that people don't understand. It's a lot braver than you think, because that person feels like unselfishly they're giving up something. I'm gonna take myself out of the way so nobody has to worry about me and things of that nature. But even with that and thinking of that, so just from your office, in the standpoint of where you are, what are some of the, I guess, biggest barriers or discrepancies that you see, just even like you say, not even as yourself going in to talk to the kids, but even if there's a workaround and things like that, what are some of the biggest barriers that you see?
I mean, probably the biggest barrier together, and you mentioned it earlier without really saying it, is representation. I mean, African Americans make up what, about 13.6 to, it depends on who you're talking to, 13 to 15% of the population. But when it comes to the mental health workforce, I think 4 to 5% psychologists, 2% Black psychiatrists,
and definitely not men.
Really?
Definitely not men. Oh no, sir. 22% social workers. When you talk about marriage and family therapists, maybe 6 to 7%. Professional counselors, 11%. So overall, we make up 13 to 14% of the mental health workforce, which is equal to the amount of people that we have. But like you said, there's a lack of Black males in that workforce, and we're disproportionately underrepresented when it comes to leadership and specialized in the specialized roles like psychiatry and psychology. So that is the biggest barrier, because I'm constantly on the phone, or my nurse is on the phone. I say, look, I got a patient that's in crisis. Nurse Rowe, can you find somebody to get them into? It's like, we don't have anybody. Nobody's available. Or we've overwhelmed this psychiatrist, so there's no more appointments available. They got a 2-month wait. We ain't got 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And so when you try to deal with, Adam, the blood pressure, the diabetes, the hypertension, the high cholesterol, and then, oh, by the way, doc, I'm thinking about taking my life.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So, you know, it's hard in them streets. I mean, it's rough out here for these doctors. You know, trying to manage this stuff. And then what I found in the community when I first got to Baton Rouge, and this, you know, again, I'm 55 years old. I got back to Baton Rouge, started practicing medicine in 2000. Even then, it seemed to be, in my opinion, that most African Americans were still thinking that the white Kool-Aid was better. And so now you're seeing this shift where Black folks are wanting to see Black doctors. And I can't get them all in. I can only see what I can see. And if I don't have anybody to refer them to, that cultural barrier is there. So you don't have folks that understand what might be going on in a Black family to actually counsel them. And they discredit us or think that we're lazy or just, you know, making excuses. So you got to know that culture in order. And then when we do have some folks that's not doing it right, but the majority of the time, when those people come to you with those issues and you don't hear them, you lost them. So you got to be listening that very first visit.
So, Doc, I want to ask you about awareness. I know we all are part of smaller towns in smaller rural communities. Like Louisiana, everybody think Louisiana is like because of New Orleans. So Louisiana really is a rural community. If you talk about the United States, Louisiana is like very country. Awareness, bringing awareness to those individuals on the other side of the city. So I know we are professionals, and we all in the professional field, and we all, you know, make our money, and we're around certain people in our circle. But like you mentioned earlier, those kids that don't get fed or not having clean water at home, or not even sleeping in a bed. A lot of people are not aware of it. They are oblivious to that, right? Same thing for mental health.
Choose to ignore it. Choose to ignore
it. How do we bring awareness to situations like that when we have affluence in our community?
Man, it's you, it's me, it's these podcasts with these brothers on it. You know, up, what's it called? Up, all the smoke.
All the smoke. Yeah.
It's going to be the smaller waves to do it, and all this stuff that's going on with the federal government right now. You're basically taking away the opportunities to teach. You know, the HBCUs don't exist, the Black Panthers don't exist. freedom riders don't exist had black men and women not been oppressed back in the 60s. So now you got a president who's saying we're going to do all this DEI stuff. And basically you can have the HBCU, you just can't teach this or teach that. So you're going to take all our resources from us in order for us to educate. So it's going to take these small waves of folks like you and I. You know, we got our little 13, 14,000 followers, but they locked in. And so if we all start doing what we're supposed to do, we can get that word and get that message out to those that truly care. But come on, Jay. I mean, Adam, there's a subset of folks out there that just, I got mine, and that's what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about nobody but my immediate family. And look, I've gotten a little bit more like that now that I got this 6-year-old boy, the apple of my eye. I ain't never loved so hard in my entire life. Guys, I was in tears Tuesday when the boy started riding that bicycle.
Oh.
Y'all have no idea to watch. Y'all go on my YouTube or Instagram page, and I'm a shameless plug, but I taught my son to ride a bike in 2 days. It's captured on video. When I'm not here, because I will not be here one day, and I'm hoping he'll watch that video, be like, man, my daddy loved me to death, and I got to give that back to my generation. I got to give it back to my son. You know what I'm saying? But I got people call me, bro, I wasn't trying to cry this morning. Why you got to post all that stuff? And look, Adam, I threw a little emotional music behind there too, just to get y'all.
Good. Good.
But let me tell you something. That was, y'all don't know, that was, I don't have that memory. I have it in my head when my dad taught me how to ride a bike, but I don't have that visual. One of the more beautiful things about the social media and technology that we do have today is those types of memories. But yeah, man, I mean, it's going to take the small movements like this to get those messages out, because I think a lot of people are disconnected. They frustrated, they aggravated, they broke. I mean, there's some stuff about to go down in this country if this man can get some of these bills passed, and they trying all they can to get it done. And I'll be honest with y'all, I know this ain't what we came to talk about, but I'm really concerned this guy's gonna get a third term. Like they are ignoring the Constitution.
Like for real.
You know, so we got to be prepared to take care of ourselves and each other. And part of that is our mental health. Like, how do we deal with this? You know, how do we deal with each other? And how do we handle each other? We got to quit selling each other.
Larger scale. See, people a lot of times people think it's the big diagnosis or just the obvious thing of people having said diagnosis or what have you. And I tell people all the time, it's the little things, it's the unsaid things, it's the things you don't see, it's the actions that people have. Like you said, you posted your video of your son riding his bike. We can honestly say, not just you or you, but 5 years ago, most men, especially not a Black man, wouldn't want to post that because it's too emotional. They don't want to show the emotion. They don't want to show the raw side of emotion. And it's like, why? It's the human side. What sense does it make to even do that? But it's just the stigma that's there. And like you say, it goes into social media. We talk about social media with the young children, but it's not just the young children. It's people our age in their 40s, 50s, whatever. Social media is a very big influence for them.
Yeah. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't raise whole kids with broken spirit. You just can't do it.
Absolutely not.
And the silence, I mean, come on, God, the silence is killing us. We got to talk about mental health in our communities. We still got to talk about HIV. People just ignoring HIV now.
I know.
It's still killing us. I work in a clinic where HIV is still killing us. And when I look at that list, and 95% of people on that list are Black, and 50% of those people got HIV. Come on, man. Like, it's just things that we are no longer talking. Like, people forgot about HIV.
And the STD rates are increasing. I mean, Adam, we live here in Texas. I mean, in Houston, look at the rates. Like, I mean, it's just
95% of a 13% population have HIV.
Bro.
Yeah.
If I have a list of 30 patients in the evening, and let's say out of that 30, 17 are Black, 9 of them going to be HIV positive at this particular clinic where I work.
And it doesn't help any though, because you have the commercials about you have HIV, you can live.
You can live. Yeah, you climbing up the mountain. And the muscles all big.
There's hope.
I have
HIV. It's an unconscious hope, but it's there.
That's right. Yeah, and look, I'm pleased that we got medicines to treat, and glad the technology's improved. But my goal is to teach my son not to get HIV, teach my daughter not to get HIV. How do you do that? You got to pour into your children, and that starts at home. And that's the problem. A lot of this stuff is, I'm going back to the old school. I was raised where, children were seen, not heard. You respect your parents. Nobody called you Mr. Rani and all that kind of stuff. It was Mr. Whitfield, Dr. Whitfield, whatever. you know, people, I told my children, look, y'all, you will never be my friend. We might have some friend moments,
Right.
but you are my children. I love you to death, but I'm your father, and you respect your father like I respect my parents. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. But things have changed, and you know, we want to have drinks with my kids. I ain't about to be an old man in the club, my daughter and drinking. And no, man, we're not doing that. Matter of fact, you got to go.
My niece
I'm
just
staying, but
moved
you got to go.
home. She graduated from Xavier, and we were at my nephew's graduation Saturday. He graduated high school, and I told her, I call her Toot. I said, Toot, she's just gonna be honest. Just send me a little text on Saturday.
Let me know.
Hey, and let me know if you and your friends going out, because what I cannot do
is be in the same
walk
spot.
in somewhere and you are in there. I will do an about face and leave. Like, one of us have to leave, and I'm gonna leave because you still young. It's your time to be outside. So I will leave. But
I don't know. It depends on where we at. If it's the right spot, she gonna have to roll.
but she shouldn't. In some of the spots I'm going, she can't get in.
Right.
So,
you know, the problem is the neo. She got my daughter got a neo soul vibe, and that's my favorite genre outside of Afro beat. So she could actually probably be in the same spot, be like, well, we're gonna have to flip a coin. Somebody got to go. But
just like you said, Doc, I noticed that you were saying like, oh yeah, the traditions, some of the traditions back in the day are still applicable or should be applicable now. But now also when you going back to being vulnerable, I think vulnerability is important. And I'm glad that you did share that on social media. I'm seeing that played more on social media, played more on movies and series that we watch on Netflix or Hulu and things of that nature. How do you think that's actually affecting the new generation now that they are able to see men cry or give, good advice about being a man instead of being a player? You know what I mean? How do you find that it's affecting the young people nowadays?
I think it's a good thing as long as you have that person to ask questions about. It's interesting, and I can share this with you guys. The other day there was something on TV about two gay men, and my son whispered something to my wife. And so I didn't say anything. It was a commercial. I think it was a commercial advertising medicines to treat HIV/AIDS. And so when he went back and went to play, she said, hey, RJ said to me something about, Mommy, there were two boys kissing. We're not supposed to kiss two boys, are we? I said, do you want me to talk to him? And you guys like, well, don't say nothing now. Let me not betray his trust between he and I, but I want you to talk to him tomorrow. So we sat down and had a conversation about it. And I asked him what he thought about it, how he felt about it. And I said, well, that's not how we raised him. You see, and look, I got gay friends and gay family members, but that's not what I celebrate. That's not what I believe in. So I shared that with my son, and like, this is how we do. You were made. This is how you were made. This is your mother. This I'm your father, and this is how I'm raising you. And so, does he understand at 6 years old? I'm not sure, but you have to have the conversations. And there's some folks that the folks that would totally disagree with me. I had one of my patients that's gay, like, well, let him be who he wants to be. I said he can be who he wants to be, but he's in my house, and until he's 18, until he graduates, he can make that decision at 18. But while he's living with me, there's certain things that are not acceptable in my household. But in order to have that conversation, you have to be talking to your kids. You can't just throw the hammer down and be like, these are the rules and this is all it's going to be. That's the way it is, but I still talk to my children. I don't have the dictator mentality where this is what it is going to be, because a lot of times that'll push them away. Yes. We sit down at 6 years old. I would tell my son, if he's crying, and it's okay to cry, and I know you probably know about this book. You guys, if you don't, you should. But I've read this book at least 3 times. Cry Like a Man by Jason Wilson. And you got to peep Jason. He does some heavy stuff. If you could ever get him on the show, Adam, it would be amazing. But you can cry some, but I just need to know why. And I'm going to give y'all a very short example. Playing basketball, he falls down outside. It's just me and him. You scratch your knee. You okay? Good. Okay. He's playing still. His mother comes out. He looks at her and he starts tearing up. Mama, I hurt my knee. I said, hold on, son. You just told me, okay, we didn't play 5 more minutes and everything was fine, but now your mama comes out here. So she and I have had talks. Like, look, babe, I hear you and your sister and your girlfriends talk about the guys that y'all don't like and the guys that do this and act like this and their mama boys. Let me raise him as a man, because he's going to take care of you if something happens to me. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you two young ladies were in the room and you got up to walk to the door, my son is in the room with you at 6 years old, he's going to open the door for you before you get to the door at 6 years old. So that is only because I'm teaching him those things. And so he's only going to get what I give him. So again, you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to pour into that child. And so you can't raise whole kids with broken spirits. I say it all the time.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Doc. You over here preaching.
Yes.
And I'm just y'all didn't motivate me now. Y'all got me started.
I see you.
That's a good thing.
So in the aspect of how you say, you see the commercial on television and you work with the kids and you have your son, because my son is 8. And I often have people say, you can't give them too much. You're telling them too much. These kids know too much. Well, I come from a space of knowledge is power.
Right.
That's number one.
I'm with you on that.
Early on, when people used to say, oh, don't ask anybody if they're suicidal, you're going to put the thought in their head. No, if a person is suicidal, you can't make a person suicidal by asking them.
Right.
But if you don't, the world and society is going to give it to them. Whereas, you remember they had all the controversy about Sesame Street. When Sesame Street wanted to introduce AIDS, Sesame Street wanted to introduce gays, this, that, and the other. Well, now Sesame Street is moving over to Netflix. So what do you think is going to happen when Sesame Street gets on Netflix?
Wide open.
So the thing is, society is moving, things are moving, the world is going to give it to them. So it's like more of a cultural thing for us as African Americans, is being more open to having conversations. But most times, most adults won't have these conversations with children because they are uncomfortable with the conversation as adults.
Right.
I mean, because even as simple as Bluey, there was an episode on Bluey about the aunt having infertility issues, and that's why she didn't come around, because she couldn't face her sister having puppies and she didn't have any.
Okay.
This is an episode of Bluey. So something so heavy as that being on a cartoon, how is it you can't have conversations? So I ask people this: you sit your child in front of the TV to watch Bluey as a babysitter. So when your child brings this conversation to you, Mommy, what is infertility? Daddy, what is infertility? Yeah. Why is she sad? Why can't she have babies? Grandma had 15 kids. Why can't this person have one child? So it's like you have to realize the world and society is going to give this, but we have to get more comfortable as a culture to be able to have uncomfortable conversations. But as you said, a broken vessel can't hold anything to pour anything. So it's a lot of adults that have healing to do.
There you go.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, it's not, because it's a part of this. It's a part of what you're saying. And on generational trauma, it doesn't heal by accident. It has to be intentional. You have to heal through intention. If you're not talking,
and now you live in a crutch.
Yeah, if you're not talking about what happened in the past, and I'm not saying you have to go into specific detail, but I have many clients that have had sexual trauma, that have emotional issues. And the only way that they've gotten better is by going to counseling. And that's the thing that Black men don't want to do. You know, if you have a marital problem, sometimes it's some stuff from the past that's passed down to you. You have a marital problem, but you don't want to go to counseling to work your marriage out. You say you love that woman and you want your kids in your house and nobody raising your children, but you won't go get no counseling to save your marriage, then you don't want to save your marriage. So you have to be open to doing those things in counseling. And it's the same thing, guys, with your physical health. I have brothers all the time, man, I ain't seen you in 2 years. Where you been? I thought you was seeing another doctor. Hurt my feelings. No, doc, I just been working trying to make this money. Blood pressure high, prostate enlarged, high cholesterol, new onset diabetic. You've been gone for 2 years now. I got all these problems I got to deal with. And you tell me you love your family and you love your children, and I got to try to manage all this. You could have died from this. You know what I'm saying? So when I get real with them like that, it gets real. My wife's like, let me say, my office wife, my nurse Rose, say, Doc, you got a lot of men going to the doctor. How are you doing this? And it's a rhetorical question, because she knows, because I spend the time in the room and we talk and we laugh and we cry and I cuss and they cuss back. And my office ain't like the regular office. Like this is my family. I'm a family doctor. So this is my family. I feel like I got police officers, I got ex-cons, you name it. I got it. Gay, straight, in between, you name it. They come to my office and that is my family, and I treat them all with respect, and the respect comes back. And so I always tell my wife, you safe in Baton Rouge, because ain't nobody gonna mess with Dr. Whitfield people. And they know who you are. My kid is a local celebrity. Everybody know RJ, because I'm always posting RJ on the gram. My daughter, of course, she got to have the filters on, so I can't post her. But Yeah, so it's, you know, I'm a family doctor and I treat my patients like my family, and it gets emotional sometimes. I've cried, I've gone to funerals. I have a 104-year-old patient. Happy birthday, Ms. Green. She'll be celebrating 105, God said the same, on June 14th.
Happy birthday.
105 years old.
Wow.
And the first thing she asked me is, how's my baby doing? Talking about RJ. And he was 2 years old when she met him, and she knows still. The only thing Ms. Green she does now is she gets a little sleepy sometimes. But this 104-year-old woman could sit on this podcast and have a long conversation with all three of us, all four of us. Real talk.
Yes,
so shout out to Ms. Green.
Hey, Ms. Green.
I'm gonna let her know. Look, if y'all go through the page, you'll see Ms. Green on my page too.
I'm sure.
Doc, that's real. Like, it was conversations with Black men specifically. I have those because I go to therapy, but I have those conversations not in a professional setting, more of like in a barbershop, more at a bar. Like, yo, where you at, man? I went to therapy, bro. He's like, what therapy? You know, but I have that conversation where you make it cool because, you know, in our culture, you got to be cool. We make everything cool. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why like Black men are started going to the doctor, started going to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Especially because look, I tell them all the time. Like I had this conversation for my birthday last week. I said, look, ED is a real thing.
Real thing.
ED is real. At young ages, these dudes are 30 years old having ED problems. And I'm like, bro, you don't want that to be you. You know what I'm saying?
But the question is why, though, Adam? And you just broke it down. Though you breaking them down. I love it in the mall. You got your dude with the you know, the pants hanging down, and you know they probably they in the streets. And I'm with my old lady, so I'm thinking one or two things. This could not be good. They walking the same way, the same side of the mall as I'm walking. The first thing, what's up, young brothers? How y'all doing? I'm breaking them down. So by you saying in the middle of the room with a bunch of guys getting a haircut, trying to be cool and all that kind of stuff, shoot, man, yeah, my therapy session went good. A couple of them gonna look at you sideways, but few of them they gonna want to holler at you later, like, say, I'm like, what's the deal? Like, why are you doing that? And so we have to be more open about it. You got to talk about it. Be intentional. That's probably my word of the day. Intentional. Be intentional about our health and talking to these young guys and older guys about it too. Because a lot of the older generation for sure, bro, they wasn't going to counseling. That wasn't happening. You either do it this way, or I'm leaving, or I'm, you know, whatever. But no, you got to talk. You got to talk, and you got to listen to hear what people. And sometimes people communicate at them without talking. You got to watch body language.
Yeah.
You're isolating yourself. You're not doing the things you used to do. Say, bro, you good? You know, there's a little joke going on around on social media now where the pro athletes call another pro athlete, say, hey, bro, I just called to check on you. All right, man. Good night.
Yeah, I see.
They're like,
what? They like, what? What's wrong?
I just called to tell you good night, man. Like, what you talking about?
Yeah,
right.
Like I said, you got to make it uncomfortable. Check on your friends. Make it uncomfortable until it's not uncomfortable.
Funny as it's like people think that we can't. Like I tell my partners, man, I love you, bro. Give them the brotherly hug because I do. You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be uncomfortable. That's been a weird thing, you know, for brothers. You know, we pound and we can't. Nah, man, I love you, bro. And you don't know, man. I've lost so many people the next day. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming that I'm going to talk to Adam today, and then I'm not here today. I don't want to put you in there. I'm gonna say I'm not here today. I won't put Adam out there. So again, you just never know. You know, there's a lot of relationships that have gone astray, and you wish you had made up with them. And I got a friend right now that broke up with a girlfriend, and they never resolved the stuff, and she ended up dying. And he's like, bro, all I had to do was just say I'm sorry, and we might not have got back together, but I lost her, and I just can't get over it. You know, so that's somebody that I check on frequently and we talk about it. He's dating now and all that kind of stuff. But in between he and I, that conversation happens a lot. Like, man, I still think about that. Not that I, you know, would still be with her, but there's no closure there. You know, I left the door open. I should have said something to resolve that issue. So talking and speaking up is very important.
And what people don't realize is him even speaking up and saying it out loud to you is very...
It's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. It's instrumental because that's something that he can carry into a new relationship, and it can manifest itself in different ways. And so even in that, and like I was, you know, I told them before that people come to therapy, and I've had people that have started sessions and never make it to the second session. They may get to 3 sessions and never come back because with each increased session, depending on how much work the person is doing, it gets more difficult. Yeah. And to get through some trauma and issue, You have to go through it to get to the other side of it. They figure just showing up, we're going to talk about it a little bit and get over it. But you kind of have to go through it. You have to work through it. You have to talk about certain parts. You have to feel certain things. You have to feel certain emotions. You have some people who just don't want emotions. They don't want to feel them.
But so I'm sure you've probably had people that say, you know, what I get a lot of when men and women finally go, like the man gets caught, you know, he out there, he got caught stepping, and the wife is willing to work it out. And then they come to the office individually, you know, and I'm talking to the husband, how was therapy? Oh man, he was, you know, she was all on his side, on her side, and didn't agree with me. It's like, well, no. You got caught cheating, and the lady's trying to tell you some things about yourself, but you trying to blame the counselor for not understanding your side. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. I've seen it on both ends where the person that's getting counseled is like, it wasn't my fault, and they side with my wife or they side with my husband. No, the person is telling you the truth about yourself in the situation. You're just not willing to accept it. So if you're going to do counseling, you can't go into counseling with your own opinion. I've done counseling before, and when I got read, I was in my feelings about it. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm educated about counseling, knew what the counselor was trying to do, and I had to receive that. Like, okay, I get it. I get it, you know. But it took some time for me to accept that I'm not perfect. You know, you want to think in there, hey, you perfect, and no, bro, you got some problems,
right?
Because
you know, we all do. We have to be reminded of that. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because again, being vulnerable when you go to counseling is important too. Just like you said, like, it's like, all right, I know I'm not perfect. Yes, he might have been the one that cheated, but what if I did something to him to kind of not hear the issues that he was saying that caused him to cheat,
to do that, right?
Felt him to feel the necessity to go out and figure out with someone else. So we all have to take accountability, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, look, there's never a reason to do that. And, you know, we can sit here and act like everybody perfect. No, there's never a reason to cheat, but men cheat and women cheat. That was that little funny thing. Black men don't cheat.
Don't cheat, yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, so if you're going to step out there and you have a woman that's willing to receive you, and the least you could do is what she asked you to do. And if counseling is that thing that needs to be done, you got to go. And you got to go open-minded and accept fault in what you did. And vice versa. So, no doubt. Right.
So, Doc, I know it's Friday, and I know you got things to do. You got honey-do lists.
I ain't got to do, but I'm gonna watch that shy. I'm gonna get me a non-alcoholic beverage. I'm gonna kick back with my feet up to wipe out of town. I'm about to chill this week.
Before we get out of here, I want you to give the audience your information. How can they find you? Your practice, your DJing, your podcast, how can they find you?
So I'm at the Hip Hop Doc, not the, it's THA Hip Hop Doc on Instagram, pretty much all my social media sites. And the podcast is called The Remedy with Dr. Rani Whitfield. You can find one of my episodes on Culturally Distinct with Adam. And we're gonna be posting about that. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all support Adam. I follows because we're gonna collab on our stuff. And so I hopefully y'all follow Adam and check out his content as well. But yeah, at the Hip Hop Doc, THA Hip Hop Doc. And like I always tell my listeners, man, we're born looking like our parents, but we die looking like our decisions. So let's make some wise decisions.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Don't die like your decisions. That's a good one. Guys, look, we're gonna wrap it up.
I look just like my mama, but I sure didn't make I made some mistakes that she didn't make.
Look, no, you sound like Shannon Shaw with them you call them colloquialisms.
Brother.
Yes, guys, look, we gotta get out of here, man. But I appreciate Doc for coming on. India and Kaya, give your social medias before we get out of here.
Yes, Kaya, please.
It is Eric's Queen, Kaya Hamilton Jackson. Either way, well, Kaya Hamilton Jackson, you can find on either platform. On Instagram, it's Eric's Queen. I do not have like an active YouTube. I need to get that going.
Yes, that's my you goal. Do. I am the one. Please hurry up.
For the fall, but we will collab, Doc, because you are in Baton Rouge, and
yes,
there's some things I need to get going. There's some people that we need to get in contact with. Okay. And just to piggyback, to round it back, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind because it's been put out there, but I told Adam too to get him on the show and maybe the two of y'all together. And it's not like for a therapy session for him, but it's amazing how people put things out there, and I can't remember who it was. Forgive me.
D1, huh?
Oh, but no, it was a Gary Chambers.
Oh my God, you got to get Gary Chambers.
Made a post that he has attempted suicide twice. His mom died of suicide, and he had attempted twice. And so that was very heavy for him to put that out there, especially now that he's in his healing journey. And so just to say, a very inspirational, positive person in the community, Baton Rouge community, I feel like he is another brother we need to speak to. So this
Adam, please holler at me. I got the link with Gary's like a brother to me, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I reached out to him as well, but
he's been rolling, y'all. I'm so proud of him. He went from running for office to now you can't even book him. He doing all kind of things. Just really is taking the city by storm and trying to help young Black folks in the community. So I can make that link for you though.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
India, you gotta give your handle.
Yes, in India Thomas Johns. I'm at Thomas Johns Consultancy LLC, and you can find that on Instagram. Same thing, India Thomas Johns, on LinkedIn and also Twitter.
Awesome.
All right, there you go, guys. Man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Of course, we are culturally distinct everywhere, guys. But once again, shout out to my sponsor, 605 Adult Beverages, Red Crow Universe Call Audio. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a great show, impactful show. Hey, look, we have more content coming. We got more great guests coming. And look, just like Doc said, it's about collaboration, helping each other out. And I want to get Gary on here. I reached out to Sean already. So Sean and Gary, they kind of flew. Sean and D1. I talked to D1 in New Orleans a while back. This is before, he had that the little deal going on. So I'm gonna circle back around with him. But we're gonna have him on the show. Guys, but
now, Adam, what's my consulting fee? Now, if I pull these folks off, I need a consulting fee, man. Come on now, India, talk to your boy.
I tell him, look, this invoice.
You will never get paid.
It's an invoice. You gonna pay me the same amount you paid me last year.
Exactly. Right. Guys, we gotta get out of here, man. Look,
honor to get them brothers to accept with you, man. That'd be an honor.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Guys, but we gotta get out of here, man. This is Black Adam again. Look, culturally distinct. I love you guys, and you can't do nothing about it. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.